What's good, squad? So I'm gonna make a video about the same topic that I talked about in the last video, because I realized my audio was kind of off because I'm just using my phone, no mic, so the sound of the train was kind of interfering with the sound of my voice, so some of the points weren't coming across clearly or loudly. So I was talking about books that have made the most amount of turning tender. Ooh, some steak would be nice right now. I was talking about books that have made the most amount of impact on my life. And these are two books that I read in 2020 during the lockdown. And I was saying how a lot of people consume self-help content or self-development content, whether it be videos, books. They get into this loop, into the cycle of consuming the content but not applying it. I'm at a period or a phase in my life where anything that's in my mind, it has to get out. I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna take out a mediocre idea. Well, at least if I think it's mediocre, but it's for people to judge if it's mediocre or not. But for me, it has to make sense first, and then I have to take it out into the world. I'm not trying to withhold anything that comes to my mind any longer. This concept of being a perfectionist has got to go. So I was lamenting the fact that a lot of people consume self-help content. They get into that psyche, that loop of consuming and never applying. And yeah, me, I'm at a point in my life where I'm just applying. So I was talking about these books, right? And the first book I bought ever in my life with my own money that I saved up while I was still in high school, was I Write What I Like by Steve Biko. Steve Biko had been my childhood hero. I learned about him in history. Yeah, our school had a weird science stream, so our science subjects had history, so you could choose, well, not choose, but it was kind of built in that stream, so you had to take history if you took science. They since changed it though, but yeah, I learned about Steve Biko in history. And this one time I went to Mabonya, I saved up some money, I bought I Write What I Like by Steve Biko. I tried to read it, so this was 2015, I tried to read the book, and it was just so hard to consume, you know. The English was so hard. The points weren't making sense because I think I was not mature enough to kind of grasp and understand what he was trying to say. So it was a hard read for me. Kind of put it in the back burner. Fast forward 2020, you know, I go down this rabbit hole of trying to read. And I'm like, maybe let's give this a second read. And at this time, I was communicating with my friend Harold a lot. We were sending each other emails, communicating on emails, because I didn't have a phone. I lost my phone and kind of didn't want to get a new one. So I was like, hey, yeah, so I was talking to Harold a lot. So if I had a thought, I would try to relay that thought to Harold. So I was in this space that I'm in right now of trying to get ideas outside or out into the world. right? And I write what I like, and it got me thinking, like really thinking about my value to humanity and my contribution to my community, because at least for me, the main message of the book is nobody's coming to save you. You have to start your own things as a people for your community, and it can be applied to anybody. It was specifically for black people at the time, because black people were marginalized. So Steve Biko was preaching self-determination, and I consumed all of that knowledge. I also read a book by Nelson Mandela. It's a collection of memoirs and stories from prison and stories from childhood. It's called Conversations with Myself. I've never been a big fan of Mandela, and I think that would need a whole video on its own. But with that book, I found myself kind of putting myself in his shoes and kind of empathizing, you know, just thinking about where this man comes from as a kid, you know, in an unknown place, assuming this radical position. Because before Mandela was about peace and reconciliation, he was about, let's retaliate, let's fight back, let's arm ourselves, let's get educated, and all those things. And so this book is a conversation. Well, Conversation with Myself is like a collection of memoirs and those stories from the past, right? And it just got me thinking about how these people took initiatives from where they were, and they didn't wait for nobody to give them anything. And fast forward in 2022, 2023, I'm starting my own things, starting my own community projects, you know, business, clothing brand, whatever. If I have an idea, I have to get it out into the world, and hopefully it's for the benefit of people, especially my immediate circle. So those are my thoughts. Conversations with myself. I write what I like. Let's go.